More time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. The Washington Commanders were not expected to defeat the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day, but after the Commanders were defeated 45 to 10 rather, you knew that changes were coming. Washington's coaching staff will look different going forward as following the blowout loss, defensive coordinator Jack Del Rio and defensive backs coach Brent Weisselmeyer were fired. Through 12 games this season, the Commanders are averaging giving up nearly 378 yards per game, which is the worst in the National Football League. Like I said earlier this week, you knew that changes were coming for Washington following last Sunday's home loss to the New York Giants. That was a game where the Giants, prior to that contest, had only won 2 games themselves. Washington, they were big time favorites at home. And for the most part, the Giants really had their way in that game. They forced 6 Commanders turnovers. The defensively for the Commanders, they made the undrafted rookie for the Giants, Tommy DeVito, look like a Pro Bowler. And then we knew that things were not going to get better against the Dallas Cowboys, especially. I talked about this. You figure from the standpoint that the Commanders have had issues on the offensive line all year. Sam Howell is on a record pace, to get sacked more than any other quarterback in NFL history. And then, of course, what happened? That Dallas defense, they pinned their ears back. They were coming after Sam Howell. This game, for the most part, was semi-close throughout until that fourth quarter when Dallas just simply separated. But nonetheless, the Commanders' defense has not been playing good all season long, and I'm not going to sit up here and give Jack Del Rio a pass on that. But to me, in this situation, Del Rio was made to be the sacrificial lamb, courtesy of head coach Ron Rivera. It's one of those where, at the end of the day, like I said the other day, Ron Rivera's days as the head coach of the Washington Commanders are numbered. I said that possibly coming into the season. You have a new ownership group led by Josh Harris. And with that said, he's not attached at the hip with anybody within his organization. He didn't hire any of these people in place. And I guarantee you, a lot of things are going to change. And if you're Ron Rivera and this is the record for the Washington Commanders that is attached to your resume, it ain't looking good because in 3+ seasons in Washington, he's 26, 35, and 1. He does have one division title to his record, but he's never had a winning season there. And this loss to the Dallas Cowboys on Thursday all but clinches that because now you got a Commanders team that is 4-8 with 5 games left, and their schedule is not easy. But honestly, just Ron Rivera aside, this Washington franchise has been bad for quite some time, and it dates back to former team owner Dan Snyder, and of course, Josh Harris and company. They're looking to right those wrongs, if you will, but it's going to take time. You think about it. The Commanders have been plagued by bad drafting, bad personnel decisions, and you got to go back to Joe Gibbs's first run with Washington to find the last time that this team made the playoffs in consecutive years or that they won 10 games in back-to-back years as well. So with this new ownership group that is led by Josh Harris, I guarantee you that an organizational overhaul is coming because, in my opinion, I don't think anybody's job within this organization is safe. I think it's a scenario where uh, Jack Del Rio was basically thrown to the wolves by Ron Rivera. But again, you look at it. I mean, the Giants are not a good team. They're 3-8 heading into tomorrow's game with the Patriots, but 2 of those 3 wins have come courtesy of the Washington Commanders. And you just have to ask yourself, if you're a Commanders fan or if you're anybody who's following this, then you got to say, hey, we're 4-8 right now. We beat the Giants in those 2 games. We're 6-6, and 6-6 sounds a lot different this time of the year than 4-8. And then you're right smack in the middle of things in regards to making a postseason. So, I mean, for me, I don't think Ron Rivera is going to coach this team next season, and I think anybody would be like really naive to think that anything else would be the case for him in Washington. And honestly, at the way things are going, I'm not even sure if Ron Rivera makes the year because you look at it next Sunday, the Commanders they have the Miami Dolphins at home. another perennial playoff team. They got their bye week, and then the final four games of the season at the Rams, at the Jets, and then back-to-back home games with San Francisco and Dallas, two of the better teams in the NFC. So you're looking at it right now with 5 games to go. Maybe there's one victory in there for the Washington Commanders, and I guarantee you, 5-12 is not going to help Ron Rivera keep his job. So changes are coming in Washington. I think this was the tip of the iceberg. Like I said, Ron Rivera made Jack Del Rio the sacrificial lamb, but at the end of the day, what are you really doing right now? You're just delaying the inevitable. And at the end of the day, more changes are coming, and it's going to start with the head coach of the Commanders, in my opinion. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I am signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.